What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 200th episode of the Juice Loose podcast. You know, we did 100 extravaganza, I think, back 2 years ago and put a lot of thought and effort into it. So I figured for 200, why don't we put zero effort into it? So here we have like nothing really planned. T's in his car, driving home, cutting in and out based on how his cell service is. Robert can't be here. So, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun.
So fucking stupid.
And yeah, we might play a little game with the audience. Retro kind of has a little who's the most, or what is it? How well you know the Juices Loose crew kind of quiz. We'll see at what point we get enough viewers. We're gonna try it out. Maybe we'll start with like 5 questions, see how it goes, and then see if we want to keep going. So, but yeah. I just want to say thanks to you guys, Terrell, Retro, Clocked It, T, Robert, wherever you are, for being a part of the Juices Loose podcast. I know T was the first one on, I think episode 14, and then Terrell would have been the next one. You were at what, 50, somewhere around there?
I do not remember.
You were before. I know you were. Pretty sure you were right around the 50.
I think the one I debuted on was, I think, the same time you had like Coupon and Nia and shit on.
Yeah, so it was right around 50. Then Retro, a few years later, I can't remember. It was after the 100th, though. I know that.
I think it's around 150, some shit like that.
You were there, yeah. And then Clocked It was, what, 10, 12 podcasts ago?
Yeah, it's not that many.
Was it like the beginning of this year, maybe?
Yeah, probably around there. So, but yeah, I mean, had a lot of different guests on over the years, and it's been fun, mixing it up. Sometimes we all get along, everything goes great. Other times, friendships fall apart, and people you had on called friends, or now someone who won't even talk to you. So,
Savage.
But it's been a good run, and but yeah, let's just get into the first topic that kind of popped up today. Was in the UK, the fastest selling Switch game this year, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Trash Bandicoot.
So that's the UK. So that's Clocked Its neck of the woods.
I can't defend this country whatsoever. We deserve to fall.
Oh, we heard T for a second, y'all. I heard him. Only for a second, though.
But UK absolutely loves Sony, and Crash did ridiculously well on the PS4. So not surprised it sold well. But I was surprised that the Xbox One version actually outsold the Switch version by 200 units or whatever, 230. But
it wasn't by much then.
No. It says a lot about the UK, but it also says a lot about what's come out on the Switch this year so far, I think.
To a degree.
Wii U ports, we'll say by the numbers Kirby game, a little bit better.
Which is weird because it was the fastest selling Kirby opening game ever.
Mm-hmm.
That shit makes me so sad.
That's because you don't like the game, Retro.
Yeah, but I'm a massive Kirby fan. I do like the game compared to other Kirby's games. It's by far the worst.
Listen. I have Pokemon Let's Go this year. Don't talk to me about misrepresentation in your franchise, all right? I don't want to hear this shit. At least still looks like a Kirby game. There's still 8 winks and nods and shit. I'm over here taking L's, playing with a fucking Pokeball. Life is hard right now.
Yeah, we got all kinds of noise going on.
Crashing right in front of our eyes.
all those strange noises you heard, and there's him probably gurgling or something. Like,
T at this point is biting his phone.
Yeah, he's holding onto his phone in his teeth while talking, so that's why it sounds a little off. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna see what VG chart says. Crash sold PS4 version.
What do you mean as of now?
Just in the UK, I'm wondering if it will give us a rundown of the region. So the Insane Trilogy, 4.1 million overall on PS4, which is ridiculous.
That's incredible. Incredible.
And let's see. It doesn't
Oh,
have
God.
UK specific. It does have Europe, and Europe was by far and away the biggest region for that for
Yeah, I think
PS4.
half of the reason why Crash is popular was because it was so popular in Europe. I don't think it was
Yeah.
ever as popular in the US as people like to pretend like it
Yeah,
was.
it did over 500,000 in week 1 on the PS4 in Europe.
Just in Europe. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, when I
It's
was when I
insane.
was working in electronics boutique, I mean, I sold both Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3, and you know that series was just huge. One of the biggest sellers on the PlayStation 1, you know, without a doubt.
God, and it's such a like barely a blip on my gaming radar back in the day. I mean, I remember the commercials and seeing some gameplay of it.
Or when he was standing outside the Nintendo headquarters with
That got me so mad. I was-
he was the hardest of hardcore fanboys.
especially with you got Mario 64 sitting there, and you're talking shit with this mediocre, you know, not even really
the
a
Sonic
3D.
ass game. That's the best. I still love calling it that.
Oh my god, what's going on?
For those who don't know, that was the code name for Crash when they first started developing it.
What was it?
Sonic ass game.
Was it? I never knew that.
Because it's essentially the 3D version of Sonic, but all you see is his ass.
What?
But you ran at the camera though.
Yeah. Well, in some levels, but most of the levels you're running away from the camera. So they call that's what the code name was. It was the funniest shit.
What?
We heard that, T. We heard you, man. You living. You out here living, yo.
So
Oh my goodness.
the Switch, like, you know, we got a little sidetracked on Kirby discussion. You know, we had Mario Tennis, which you think in UK tennis is definitely more popular, I would think.
We
But
never Wimbledon.
and I don't know if he was trying to talk. It sounds like you're a mile away from your phone. But what was I saying? Oh yeah,
Mario Tennis being popular.
yeah. I'm
in the
just
UK.
talking about. I'm not surprised that Crash was the fastest selling in the UK based on like I said, all the other games that have come out for Switch. Either probably the better selling ones were probably indie games, digital type games. You know, so this only counts physical releases, I'm guessing, for their sales numbers.
Yeah,
And
when it comes to Nintendo games, I don't think they've been tracked. They haven't been able to track Nintendo's digital sales yet.
So I mean, I'm not surprised considering the region and considering all the other games that have been out. You know, we're all either ports. This is an old game too, so it kind
Yeah,
of
that's what I mean. The game's been out for like a year, and it was out on the most popular platform. So it was like people still are buying this game.
I wonder, is anybody from the UK in the chat? Do they know anybody who bought a Switch to play the Insane Trilogy?
That'd be
Crash
some
Bandicoot.
shit. Man. That'd be the funniest shit.
I would not have any friends like that. Unless I kill them.
Coming
Really?
from the guy who has friends who won't play Nintendo games.
No, they do. They do play Nintendo games. They're just very fussy bastards.
They won't play Zelda though, right? What
They
did you
were
say?
only playing Zelda. I thought it was only Zelda.
There's only Zelda.
Oh, I thought you said there was people you knew.
I said
had...
no. It's not only Zelda. They won't touch Mario and stuff like that. Like I said, very, very selective.
They're like you picky as shit.
But luckily, they won't play Crash Bandicoot either. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess that's fine. I mean, I don't know how to classify Crash.
So they're
because
dude bros, kind of.
all that doesn't seem.
Nah.
Dude bros won't even touch the
Hooligan.
I heard chicken. What?
I can't concentrate with him there.
He's like he's lurking in the corner. What do you say, fools?
Says not hooligans.
Oh, hey, there we go. Damn it.
He sounded fine there.
For anybody that's just tuning in, T's in his car trying to get home, and so his service is kind of sketchy at best.
I can't get that fast enough.
Oh, there we go. That came out pretty good, actually.
It's fine if everyone else is not talking. I think you come through. So, T, you got any thoughts on Crash being the fastest selling Switch game this year in the UK?
I think it's kind of. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's dare I say insane.
Fuck you, sir.
But like you were saying, there's not a whole lot on the Switch. That's like a big thing this year. So I'm happy. I hope to see other third-party releases get that kind of shine too. But who knows? But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a fan of the original Crash trilogy. So
And you picked the game up, didn't you?
I don't have it yet. Actually, I was gonna pick it up tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, I already bought it for PS4 for like $20, so I didn't have any reason to get it again.
I was wondering if anybody
Yeah.
other than Terrell had played it.
But the first game, and see now I beat Persona 5 last night. I can now devote like all my time to it and regret my life choices. I'm not looking forward to this at all because I said I was going to stream it, and I'm like, fuck, I should stream this.
All right. So, any other thoughts on the UK as a whole and their gaming tastes?
You know, we got people who live there right in our podcast. User, I feel like you're trying to get us to throw shots, which is fine because I will do it. But I'm just saying, I want people to know he's out here trying to push an agenda.
I'm sure they're looking forward to FIFA 19 year 2.
Oh, you're fucking garbage, man.
I'm silent for the reason because I just can't defend it whatsoever.
That's a damn shame.
Whatsoever.
Hey, I might pick up FIFA 19 for my boy Lil Cray once it gets a decent price drop because he loves him some football.
Football. All right, I'm sorry. Sorry, it was a Tourette's moment. Don't mind me.
All right, what was the other? What was something
I didn't want
else?
to. Well, go ahead.
I thought there was another sales related. Oh yeah, Hollow Knight.
You're doing it backwards though. Your subscribers are supposed to buy you shit.
I want, listen, Juice, we're announcing the Juice's Patreon in the description. Juice will take all your money, and for $5, once we reach a goal of $300 a month, Juice will finally we'll finally make Juice play like multiple Sonic games back to back, so he can stop saying all this blasphemous shit. Oh, and we'll finally get him to go through like a legit Pokemon game. All right, that's the other.
I got a question though.
Ooh.
You watched my live stream of Sonic Generations, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
What's left of that game from what I did in that hour?
What you played all the way up until I think the second, like Chemical Plant, I believe. No. You did Sky. You did
3 worlds, and there's a lock. Looks like a boss world, and
you're
then a
about
bunch
to
of
fight.
challenges.
Yeah. When you say more, do you mean variety in gameplay? I'm guessing.
Is there any more worlds? I feel like I'm done with the game minus that.
No. You've literally only gotten to the first boss. Like you have like, I want to say now. Granted, Sonic Generations is like one of the shortest 3D Sonic games. It's like super short. I think you could beat that game in like 4 or 5 hours, if that. So you probably are like a third, maybe a fourth or a third through the game.
Yeah.
The problem is like Sonic Generations is one of those games that literally, if you don't like the first, like if you're not enjoying yourself within like the first, I want to say like the first few worlds you've been through, or at least noticing some variation to where it's like, this seems kind of interesting. Maybe there's something I can experiment with more. If you're not getting any feeling from it, then there ain't no point continuing the game because there's nothing else it adds in terms of mechanics and shit. It is all about the level design, which is probably the reason why people love the game. It has really good level design, but that's for Sonic fans. I'm not for Juice. It's hard. It's hard for a Sonic fan to sell.
Really good level design. I love the parts where you're supposed to hit B to duck, but if you don't hit B, he still ducks and slides underneath it.
Well, remember Sonic is also a speed running type game, so
Like,
although it will duck for you, if you hit B yourself, you go faster and you get a quicker time.
Okay.
Because the way you S rank in that game is literally getting an A rank and not dying while playing the stage, and then that's how you get the S rank. So it's all about speed and timing. It's really addictive to go back and replay levels. That's my thing. But go ahead, clock it.
I was going to say Sonic was never a speed running game to begin with. Never.
Is it? What?
It was a platform game.
I mean, it's still a platform, but I mean, like it's a speed-based platformer.
You go back to Sonic 1.
Well, no, Sonic 1 not good
Speed.
to me.
What?
Sonic 1's okay. I don't fucking like Sonic 1 that much.
God, who are you?
Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 are better games. Because Sonic 1 has that shitty ass pace breaker in the form of was it a marble palette? No.
Yeah, it's a platform. Yeah, Marble Zone.
Yeah, Marble Zone. Like, I hate that stage. It's just a slow ass stage, and Sonic to me isn't meant to be in stages that you can't speedrun.
You can speedrun
debate.
There's people speedrun Mario games, and those never were built. The first game was not built with speedrunning in mind. I'm almost guarantee you. Even
I wasn't built with it in mind, but it trips me out. It wasn't because it feels like you should be able to do it.
But at least
it feels like they wanted you to do it in some instances.
It plays really well as a take your time, slow paced platformer too. I mean, it's kind of covers both.
That's probably my biggest issue when I play Mario. I play Mario like I play Sonic, which is not smart, but it's a habit, and I can't stop it. It's an addiction.
I don't play Mario like I play Sonic because I actually have to hit buttons and.
Okay, sir.
It doesn't play. Mario just doesn't start running for.
You gonna make me break out my PS3 and fucking. And
I don't have to shut the controller down basically, and Sonic still plays itself. So.
Hey man, okay.
Yeah, Mario don't do that.
Hey, listen, sir, you did die on a few parts of that in that play session.
Because it's just stupid design. Like
not stupid. What? Please. All right, no, we're not doing this.
I do have to jump here. I'm so used to not having to do anything. Oh, now I have to jump.
He's just bullshit is what it is. Sonic has good game design. The problem is they just can't be consistent with it in games. Generations is like one of the few good examples of them being consistent. And it never happened again, it feels like.
There's parts where I'm like, oh shit, I missed that jump, I'm dead, and I go down. Oh no, it just like now I'm hanging from a line, sliding or something, whatever happened.
Yeah. You're on the lower level. You were on the high pathway, now you're on the lower pathway.
Yeah.
Sonic Generations is pretty forgiving.
Yeah, that's what.
It's weird seeing someone who doesn't play Sonic play that game because it's like, oh my god, what is he doing? Shh, don't tell him. It's all right.
It's absolute.
It's not the player's fault. It's the game. The game.
It's absolute trash.
Which is funny because you were praising classic Sonic, sir. I heard those words came out of your mouth.
There's a couple sections where like, all right, this ain't too bad. Where I'm actually jumping, I'm actually controlling what I'm doing. Like this ain't too bad.
You just like classic Sonic more than I honestly think you would enjoy Sonic Mania. I really do.
I don't even call it classic Sonic. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. What we got there? We got Sonic the Hedgehog, and then we got the trash afterwards.
No, you have classic and modern. Most people who are classic fans agree with you wholeheartedly, Clark. That they hate anything that he's 3D in. If he's 3D in a game, it's garbage.
Hey, I just said Sonic R is the greatest 3D Sonic game.
No, get the fuck.
I think Sonic Rush is the best Sonic game. Period.
Oh no, listen, Rush is fucking crazy. Which is weird. How do you praise that game when that game has almost the same type of design? It's just 2D.
Because it's 2D, it doesn't play itself. Like it's
what? All you literally have to do in some stages is hit the boost button. That's it. Go back and play Rush. I promise you, Rush is not that deep of a game. I love Rush. Rush is fun as shit. I love the soundtrack for Rush. Rush is not a deep game.
I played that 10, 12 years ago. It's just still my favorite.
Oh no, it's a good ass game. I fucking love it. I'm just saying. The design is similar.
All right, enough Sonic talk. Let's talk about a good game that sold really well on Switch. Hollow Knight hit 250,000 already, 2 weeks time, which is awesome. I mean, they priced it to sell. Like if I had paid 40, I'd still felt like it was good value for my money. But it's only $15, selling 250,000. I think it's timed console exclusive, to use Xbox phrasing, some launch exclusive on Switch.
It was a perfect price. There was no hesitation for me whatsoever. Absolutely perfect.
And I mean the music, everything. I'm like, how is this not like a $30 out of all the indie games? there's been quite a few recently that are above 20, 25, 30. Ukulele charging 40 for a crowdfunding game that they got, basically they funded, the game was already funded. And to only charge 15, I mean, the game's older, but they could have easily charged 20, 25 probably, because it's worth it. But I think that's great and just another example of why some of these, like Unraveled, I know they said that they didn't have the team to do it, but a game like Unraveled 2 probably would be the best selling version, would be the Switch version, because it's right up Nintendo gamers' alley. So I was just happy to see how well Hollow Knight had sold. As someone who's playing them about 12 hours in, and it's a great game. So anyone have any thoughts on Hollow Knight selling that much already?
It's just continuing the trend. The trend of indie games selling like hotcakes on Switch, because it feels like that's where you should play the game.
It's the perfect platform for we spoke about this before when I was talking about me getting stopped buying indie games on Steam and stuff like that, because to have a platform like the Switch, these I don't even want to call Hollow Knight an indie game, because it's just phenomenal. And it's not short. It's a massive adventure. It's beautiful. It's stylish. It feels like it's got all of the love and care in the world put into that game. And it just feels like a video game. So sometimes we could use the word indie title, and it could sound as if we're separating it from just video game. But in my mind, it's just a phenomenal video game, and it's on a perfect platform, absolute perfect platform for the type of game that it is. And it's just another reminder to all these other developers who still haven't got their games or even announced them for the Switch yet, to get their finger out of their ass. I've tweeted to Super Giant Games, and those are the guys who've done Bastion and Transistor and Pyre. And if those games come to the Switch, I'd snap it up, especially in physical condition cartridges as well. Those games would sell. I bet you they would sell more on the Switch than what they've done on PC and Xbox. So it's just another reminder to all these developers that the Switch is still hotness, and these games are just going to sell in there because people want them on this platform.
Yeah, I mean, what Stardew Valley is over 1 million on the Switch. I'm sure Rocket League's over 500,000. They've never said, but I'd be shocked if it, because it was like #1 in the charts for the longest time. And I think Hollow Knight is, like you said, it's the perfect, like, Nintendo. It feels like Nintendo made the game. Like if it's that was a Nintendo logo at the beginning. If somebody, let's say someone just fucking put that on there to trick somebody, they'd believe it. There's no doubt in my mind that people would believe that Nintendo made that game. That's how good it is on every level. And I'm glad that Nintendo fans, Switch owners, went out and bought it. And if anybody listening still hasn't picked it up, I mean, unless you just don't like these 2D adventure games, like Metroid style games, it's a must buy, especially at the price. And I can't believe the quality of the art direction, the music. Like, it's amazing. So, T, do you get a chance to pick up Hollow Knight yet?
No, I haven't. I was waiting on the physical.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, there's a physical version.
Yeah, they announced a physical version. When is that coming out?
That's the question. I thought it was a set in stone or already like a setup where they had a date, but I didn't realize they didn't. I just thought they.
Yeah, I think they're still saying they're working on it.
Yeah, that's what. If I'd have known that, I probably would already have it. But because working on it, that can be, who knows when, So, but I got enough stuff to play, so I'll kind of wait.
Yeah, they say they're working on making it happen, so they're just probably getting everything lined up for getting the cartridges and stuff. But I'm trying to think if I had my Switch here out. It's not a very big. I think it's under 2 gigs.
I thought it was 2 gigs exactly.
It's right around 2, so I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit more for the physical, which is fine. That's how it should be. If it's like 25 or 30 for the physical, I'd still say it's, definitely get it. So, all right.
I did want to casually bring this up because we haven't really talked about it in a while. But unless you have something, just rather
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna, since I was on VG charts anyway for the crash stuff, I decided to look because they posted what the sales were for June 16, 2018. It trips me out how, because we haven't really heard a lot about Switch sales other than the investor meeting from a few months ago. So I went and looked to see, okay, well, how is the Switch still doing on a week by week basis? Now I guess we could all guess the order of it being PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox. I don't feel like that's a shock. How much do you think the Nintendo Switch is beating the Xbox One right now?
For the year?
No, just for this week. Just for this week.
Oh, for this week?
Yeah.
You talking Japan or worldwide?
I'm talking about. Yeah, this is cumulative. The worldwide.
I'm gonna say by 100,000.
Retro.
What is the exact question?
All right, this is per week worldwide. How much more do you think the Switch is selling than the Xbox One?
Double, whatever the number is.
Okay, clocked it.
It's a tough one. I reckon the Xbox is doing slightly better than we might think, but not by much. And if the Switch is doing on average around 50 a week in Japan, let's just say the Switch is doing about. You said 100. I'm going to go slightly higher. I'm going to say it's doing around about 150,000 a week, and the Xbox is worldwide maybe 90.
Yeah, I'm saying it's 100. Switch is 100,000 more than Xbox.
All right. Okay.
Okay. T, did you hear the question or?
Yeah. I'm gonna say like somewhere in the middle, maybe like 70, 75, 75.
Okay. Juice was the closest because the Switch for the week of June 16 had 206,000, and Xbox was only at 95,000.
Damn.
Ooh, I was closer to 90 for the Xbox.
Yeah, you were close with how much you thought the Xbox got that week.
Yeah. But 200,000 a week for the Switch?
Yeah, and guess where the PS4 is?
PS3 is probably still at 350. I'm thinking.
No, it's actually
PS4.
way closer than you think it is. It's the PS4 was only at 231.
Okay.
So it's like it was like 25,000 off.
Is this Xbox and Xbox One X both included and stuff?
Well, Xbox, yeah, it's including everything.
Okay.
PS4 and on Mars and Venus and
which is also funny because Xbox only beats Switch in America and only by 3,000.
But why is it even beating the Switch anywhere?
Well, I'm trying to think. June 16th, what came? The week of June 16th would have been what? Sushi Striker was the only thing that came out.
Wasn't much.
So I'm more surprised the Switch is still selling as well as it is, other than the fact that it's just new, because there hasn't been I guess, well, no, because Fortnite would have came out, so that might have helped. Actually, now I think.
But remember, in the beginning, the PlayStation 4 was selling and had nothing, and it kept selling till nothing till like the first year or 2 years, I think, before it started actually getting good first-party games.
That's true, but I guess the other question is this: why is the Xbox One that much lower? Because you would think, because didn't State of Decay 2 come out pretty close around there?
Because it does nothing in Japan, so it's already, and then in Europe it gets trounced by PlayStation, so it's just hard.
It's trounced. The different. It only sold 25,000 in Europe, and Switch sold 67,000. So I'm like,
well, that's when Aces came out though that week, ain't it? No, that was the week.
That
before.
was the next week. The next week it came out on the 22nd, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's what I say for that. The only thing that came out that week I could think of it had to be like Fortnite. Well, Fortnite, Hollow Knight, but there was nothing really retail. I don't think came out.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget. I mean, I got kids myself, and if you watch, just because the Switch has been out for a year and a bit, Nintendo always advertise their old games. They always advertise them. You still see Odyssey adverts. You still see I still see Super Mario Bros. 2 on the game on the 3DS adverts on Cartoon Network and
Really?
stuff.
Really?
They still
me too.
advertise. They
Can you hear
advertise
me?
Pokemon Sun
Yeah,
and
we
Moon.
hear you a little bit too. Yeah.
You know,
I was just saying they're I guess the 2DS is what, like 70 or $80 now.
Yeah, $80.
Yeah, they just talked about how they're selling or not new 2DSs, but the wedge ones, the cheese wedge 2DS, I think, and they're putting new Super Mario Brothers 2 in it.
Yeah, they did just come out with that like today, right?
That was that today? Yeah,
Like it was either today or yesterday. It was like a day ago, I believe.
yeah.
yeah.
Which
So
kind of trips me out.
you know, people will still be just jumping onto the Switch train now. You know, and to them, they've got the whole library. And if they see something advertised that they knew was there, but now they're finally getting around to buying it, that's what happens. Just because we're hot on the spot with brand new releases, doesn't mean everyone else is.
Yeah, and the quarter just ended, the second quarter. Well, actually, the first quarter of their fiscal year. But either way, we'll be finding out. Probably in a couple weeks, we'll be getting another financial report, and I'll be curious to see if Mario Kart 8 has surpassed Mario Kart or Super Mario Odyssey because it's been outselling it
Well,
pretty
yeah.
much this whole year.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
And adverts again, you see Splatoon 2 adverts, you see Mario Kart 8 adverts, and they still keep it advertising. I mean, they just updated Mario Kart with Labo, and they're advertising Labo, they're advertising all that stuff. So they just continue to advertise their first party products throughout the whole console lifespan. You know, that's what they do.
These games are still $50-$60 too.
Yeah, and
Well, that and you think about it. If you're a new person who didn't play Wii U, because a lot of people didn't, and you jumped onto the Switch now, like today, you have like the majority of the Wii U catalog and this like disgusting catalog of Switch games to play. And we're like a year and a half in. It's like,
Yeah.
what? It's insane to me. And then you get Smash at the end of the year, so you know that's something. You get your Pokemon and your Smash game at the end of the year. A Pokemon game. I'm not gonna say the Pokemon, I'm gonna say a Pokemon game, but still, that's a lot of shit considering we're not even 2 years in yet.
and when that Pokemon game comes out, you watch again. You know, when you
Oh,
say
it's gonna be fucking disgusting, dude.
it's gonna be crazy because people will see it. They'll see that Pokeball and shit. So I only saw the other day. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get Pokemon whatsoever. I wasn't gonna get it, and I saw the other day that they're going to release Hey You, not Hey You Pikachu. I keep on calling it Hey You Pikachu.
A lot of people thought about that when we first heard it.
You know, Eevee and whatever, but they're releasing it with the Pokeball now, right, in the special edition.
Yeah.
I'll be getting it for my kids. You know, fuck it.
Yeah,
Why
Go
is the
ahead, T.
battery life so
Dude, that was so funny. Your connection made it sound like you said ass.
T is Michael Jackson, y'all. 2018. He's coming out with a new album.
That made it funny, but
It's gonna be called Man Behind the Cell Phone.
you're talking about the battery life of the 2DS? I wonder, because I heard battery life is ass, and we were talking about
Oh no, the better us for the Pokeball is ass.
the Pokeball.
It's like 3 hours.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Well, because the battery must be.
Well, remember, because it
Tiny.
also has the audio thing in there. Because you can remember in the commercial, if you wiggle the ball, you can hear the Pikachu go Pikachu.
Does it have HD Rumble?
I would assume so. And
And
it
it
has
probably
like
lacks a lot of space, though. I think that's also an issue.
yeah, I don't know why it's only 3 hours, but I mean, that was like the biggest complaint with it. I was like, I see what you're doing, and you're gonna make me buy it, and I don't want to buy it, but I'm probably gonna buy it. But why is it only 3 hours?
Well, it's got memory in it as well, isn't it? Because I think you could transfer stuff. Right?
Yeah, you can transfer your Pokemon into the ball.
Mhm.
So it's like you're literally carrying around a Pokeball. It's 2018. You still got me investing in this bullshit. I bought the Pokewalker. Listen, if you don't know, I bought the Pokewalker when that shit came out with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which was essentially a pedometer that was just shaped like a Pokeball. And I carried it with me because I'm fucking weak.
I bet you Ruby's gonna buy that Pokeball. Ruby Sakurai in the chat there.
Yeah.
shit? It's just
What'd you
What was
say?
that?
trapping. I was
What
saying,
happened?
T, you're cutting out.
Don't get into our car accident, please.
Finish.
You've been cutting out for the last 5 minutes.
Say it again.
How many people are gonna throw their fucking Pokeballs and smash their TV?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you have to throw it. Right.
Yeah.
The old Wii days, isn't it?
It says it has better HD rumble than the Joy-Cons. Is that true? Anybody else hear that?
Supposedly, that's what I've heard, but no one's really touched it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
Ruby's gonna fucking buy it. She's lying. She's fucking lying. She's gonna pull a Terminator juice like I am. We're gonna spend the whole fucking year, the rest of this year, talking a bunch of bullshit, and then as soon as that game comes out, bro, what you doing? Oh, I saw you playing Pokemon on your Switch log. Yeah.
That's all I heard when I was kind of shitting on the game. Oh, it's a bridge. You're gonna get a bunch of Pokemon Go players by it. Yeah, you're gonna get some of those, but the majority of the people are gonna buy it are the people who already buy all the Pokemon games anyway. And I don't care what they say. That's what's gonna happen.
That's an unfortunate fact because even my friends who play the mainline series are already like, fuck. I guess we're buying the game. And I said, yeah, I figured you were. See, I'm just going to be more adamant about it. And hopefully, if I can hold out for 2 weeks, which I should be able to because I want to rant about September for this year. It's going to be some shit because they've released too many fucking games in September, apparently, from what I've looked up so far. And I'm mad as shit. Hopefully, that might be able to carry me past November and I don't have to think about it. But I'm probably still going to look up footage and then I'm going to go buy the game on impulse. So I'm not holding myself to any higher standard here, okay?
Yeah, I was almost gonna buy the Street Fighter 30th anniversary, and then I asked you guys what you thought, and you're like, "Yeah, probably shouldn't." Heard the net code's bad, and
Which is because Capcom, they said they were gonna put out a patch for it actually recently.
I haven't heard anyone talking about that game now since it's launched.
Yeah, I see I think two people on my friends list every once in a while.
I've got it, man. I was so hyped for it. You know, Alpha 3 online is just an absolute dream, and I'm just gutted it's gone away. It has, you know, like I said, I might come back later, but it's always bad when you get that bad taste in your mouth before the game has come out, isn't it? You know, it really puts you off it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't personally mind them adding in the versus mode when. I mean, yeah, it was a dumb decision that in the beginning we're going to port these arcade games. Let's not even consider it till it was too late and the game's already fucking being produced on the cartridge. But to me, that wasn't a deal breaker. It was just,
Need to get out of my Capcom hate, I think.
Yeah, Capcom just did a bunch of other dumb stuff, and it's like, playing those types of games online, it's always hit or miss with connection. Lag can completely ruin a game. Those are best at couch co-op, and these days that couch co-op thing's pretty much will be Smash. A couple times a year, I'll play couch co-op with a group, and I think Street Fighter thrives off of that kind of arcade feeling where you're both standing there, both sitting next to each other.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
All right, so we got quite a few people tuning in. We got live chats active. Retro, you wanna explain your idea for this game? Let's do a little sample and see how we'll do like 5 and see how the response is. Well, why don't you go ahead and kind of explain your idea and how it's gonna work?
Okay, yeah. So we're doing this for fun now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the idea. I had like 25 questions in total, and the idea was more that it's a 200th episode, and we always have the chat that's usually pretty active, and sometimes when we do this stuff, we do these questions and we make them for us, and then we answer them. But I figured this time we do like a question kind of contest for the chat. So I have questions about the podcast, basically about the podcast and about the members, and the idea is just that the chat answers, and we can do like a little sample idea for some you will know, but some questions could have multiple answers. Like I can state like there's 2 answers and I would need 2 answers, and if the chat answers that question, they would have to give both answers at the same time in order to win a point for that question. So if somebody, for example, gives an answer, and then they press enter and they give another answer, and then somebody copies their answers in one comment, then they win the point, for example. It's really because that's easier that way. And it's basically just people who know us, who've been watching us, because it's questions about the podcast. And the only rule for us is, as members, well, I know I have the questions here and shit, but is that we can, obviously it's fun for us maybe to discuss shit that might come up, but the idea is that we can only start talking about it and answering ourselves once somebody in the chat has given us the proper answer, because else we're just going to be like, okay, this is the answer, that it's not fun, because most of us know all these answers anyway.
So as soon as somebody answers, they get the point?
Yeah, exactly. The first person who would answer get the point. And if we get like a double question, I'll explain it when it comes still. So the first question, for example, if the chat is ready, the first question I had is, what Nintendo Switch game did Terrell put the most hours in? And that's the kind of shit we talk about this a lot all the time. Most of these questions, it always comes up. So it's nothing that I'm like inventing or that the chat can't know.
And if
That's
people,
easy, man.
yeah, and if people in the chat aren't really answering, then we're gonna have to.
Muhammad already got it.
Okay. Muhammad gets a point. First one in.
I don't have any words to say here, folks.
That's correct, right, Terrell? Just
yeah, it's correct.
I know that's correct. I don't
want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about that. You guys probably go.
We don't know. He might have imported Senra Kaga or something, so we don't know.
Senra Kaga's coming to the States. I don't need to import it. It just hasn't come out yet. I'm guessing it's coming out.
Well, I got a follow-up question. How many hours has Terrell spent watching idle animations in Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
None really. I don't do that. Well, let me present. I didn't do that in game.
Oh,
someone made a compilation video, and I've watched that.
Okay.
I don't do that in game.
So
I saw that video. That video's great. I love it. The person who put that video together, that took a long ass time to get all those characters to stand there in that same spot and get those idle animations. And
awesome. By the way, since we're mentioning that real quick, the same guy is actually trying to get all the pre and post game post battle quotes. You know how the characters talk to each other after a battle? There's like over 1,000 different custom ones depending on which blade you have out. So he's currently trying to do that as a full video series. So that's been pretty entertaining.
I'm seriously amazed by how Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does that. Even when you talk to random NPCs in a city, and depending on what blade is following you, you can also get other conversations. It's absolutely insane how detailed.
So good, God.
All right, let's get back to the questions.
Okay. So this was, in my opinion, a very easy question. That's why I did this one first. The second one is a harder question, and it's really for the diehard fans to know this. So if it takes too long, if we wait until a couple of people guess before we go again, because else you're going to get 10 minutes of silence, so we won't do that. So we wait until a couple of people answer to see. Okay, so the second question is, Terminator Juice, he started the Juices Loose by himself. What was episode 1 about? I didn't even need to look that up myself.
I know. Easy. I know. Easy.
Should we make it a little more specific, like what game? Oh, it's already
Jack
been
already got it.
Jack Gates. Good job, buddy.
Jack the man.
Mario Party Mondays. That was the original podcast title.
And I think it was an upload via the Nintendo channel, like a replay, I think, of a round and shit.
We used to talk about it. Mario Kart Mondays, yep. We did that for about 3 episodes, and I was like, yeah, we're going to change the name. So I changed the title, but if you go back and rewatch them, then I
think I'm more.
That's how I announced it. Yeah, and it was first one was just me.
Ironically enough, I'm so baffled that someone said Mario Galaxy 2.
All right, let's keep it going.
Okay, so the third question. This is like more recent, but it's some kind of like joke that got stuck, and we keep reusing it. So the third question is, how many kids does Clock that had got to feed at home?
This is more of an inside joke, though, honestly.
We've used it. I've paid attention. We've used it several times on the podcast, as I wouldn't have.
I was like, yeah, I remember Retro was a dedicated listener.
So how many kids that he says he has to feed, or how many
Eight
kids he
ball got
has?
it.
Yeah, that's
Eight
easy.
ball got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Stitch had
I-
guessed the right number of kids he has, but it was you always say
Yeah.
quoting
Hey man, I got 5 kids to feed. I don't know what you're talking about.
fucking
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Oh my goodness.
Clacton's obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger. If anybody didn't know that, he's
Benny.
a big fan.
We got-
Okay, so we'll just
Keep
instantly
going.
move on to the fourth question. This is also more hard for the more older fans here. There's a lot of possible answers. I'm gonna require 2 answers, and like I said, it has to be in the same comment. So you can't just type twice. It has to be the same. And in one comment, you gotta name 2. Okay, so name 2 people who previously appeared on the Juices Loose, excluding every current member.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah,
And
Well-
there's been a boatload.
I kind of want to.
he also got an answer somewhat from me earlier when I was talking about it.
Yeah, I kind of want to.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I want to make it before I had a set. Before the last person. That would count as one. So it's gonna be hard because I used to have different guests all the time. Yep. Jack
Has
Gates
OG
got it
been on?
again, but no, he hasn't.
Okay. Because then it's Jack, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of say
Rock, yeah, was so close just then.
let's take Rob a rule 2 out, and then let's see what people come up with.
But are we still giving Jack the point?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you could have.
but Rob was a regular, and there's been a lot of just here and there guys. So I want to see if anybody can get.
I give Jack a lot of points because he said level head. No.
Nope.
Now you just naming random people
Yeah.
you know.
Forget Robert Rule 2. That's no longer counts. I want to
And
see if
OJ, and OJ is wrong.
anybody before Rob was on.
I think people think Black Baron because me and T talk Black Baron sometimes on the podcast.
Never interacted with him. Maybe one time on Twitter.
There's a
It's just now Jack got the second
Yeah,
answer as
I
well
mean, it's-
anyway.
Yeah, Red.
Jack
Tree.
be nimble, Jack be wait, no, someone already said it. Fuck
All
you.
right, we can move on. But if somebody wants to come up with somebody other than Red Knight or Leveled, there you go. Visor Grunt, Zen. That was a good. That's a good one. Zen Gamer, the Nintendo. Whoever.
Oh shit, chill out. You know?
I hate Nintendo because
You
of
put this man's
Splatoon
government out.
commercials.
It's not great.
He used to be on. So, all right, what's the next one?
Okay. The next one is technically also an easy one, I'd say. What is RetroDad's most hated video game sequel ever?
Oh, this one is insanely easy. Because every time he says it, he wants people to pick fights and shit.
If Jack gets one more right answer, then we're gonna have disqualify him for a couple of questions. See
What kind of shit is that? He's doing too well.
He's doing well.
He's doing too well. Cut his legs off. Jesus Christ, guys.
No, he loves that game, Muhammad. He
Muhammad
absolutely loves
Simpson is
it.
a masterpiece.
It's one of his favorite sequels.
I think it's no.
I actually like that one too.
That's probably
Okay.
more on me because I like Other M.
He likes Other M. So if it's bad, he usually likes it. If it's good, he doesn't like it. Just think of that. That's your hint.
Did you not like Mario Sunshine that much?
It was all right.
Jack got a principles like
Jack gets 3 points for that. Okay, there we go.
Weister.
Weister 20. Jack Gates knew it, but I got to give him credit for not wanting to even say it because it's so wrong.
Jack does agree that you're wrong about it.
All right, let's keep this going.
Okay, let's
So
see.
what's the point breakdown?
Okay.
Jack
I
have
think Jack is in the lead.
Jack is in the
I
lead
got the
with 2
point, Jack.
points. We
And
have
everyone else
Weiss.
has one.
Yeah, now we have Weiss, Muhammad, and 8 Ball with 1 point.
Okay.
The next one is also a little bit harder. If people have been paying attention recently, they should know. And I think I have the correct answer. I'm not sure, but Juice can worst case correct me on this. Of the 200 episodes of the Juices Loose, how many were not hosted by Terminator Juice?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I don't even know the exact answer, but
I think I
I
do.
think I could figure it out. Yeah. How many times? I'm gonna put in the chat what I think the answer is.
That's I can say
Our
that's probably
I have
one
a
we'll go.
guess.
That's really difficult.
We'll go with the answer I have in my head either way.
Well, I just texted the answer. In the Hangouts, or in our little private thing here.
Muhammad wins.
Yep.
I had 6.
Good job, Muhammad.
Because
Robert did it twice.
Juice did it for the first time with E3. He gave everybody 1 turn, and since then, yeah, Robert did it once more.
And I wanted to get back to that, but with the 200th, and I forgot it was the 200th till like late last night.
You forgot about your own celebration.
I've been too busy playing Fortnite and Rocket League and Hollow Knight.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Jesus Christ! You're
Too busy playing video games to just talk about them. All right, so keep going because we got a tight race now.
Okay, the next one is interesting. I wonder how many people will get that and how fast. Okay, so Terminator Juice, he does his Juice opinions also on his channel. He has posters hanging behind him. Name one of the games from those posters.
So
I like that.
That was easy.
It's gonna turn my camera around.
You shouldn't have to actually, because there was a joke. I think when I got my poster, and when I got my poster, it was I look at it now. It's become, where did Zengara go?
Muhammad got the. He was the fastest.
Yeah.
Even though League also had the correct answer.
Jack, that doesn't count this time, Jack. I'm not going to answer because this is easy. No, that's a cop out.
I agree.
So Mohammed has just smashed Jack Gates with a red shell, and now Mohammed is in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think every game has been named except Bayonetta, which was another one, because there were 4 in total, at least from what I saw. And I think
there's a game that hasn't been answered.
Oh no, that's
and
what
Jack
I'm
Gates'
saying.
Sky is Falling. I'm guessing that's
Skyward Sword, because that is one of the ones I saw once too.
But there's one that no one has said yet. But let's go to, if somebody knows it, just for the hell of it. But go ahead and do the next question.
Okay, I'm gonna see where I am. Okay, during the history of the Juices Loose, so the history, not just current members, 2 members actually met in real life. Who are they?
Oh,
I know this one.
I know this one.
We all know this one.
It's not even that old either, so
No,
most people should know.
It was January 2017.
Stitch won it already.
So Jack's like, you ain't gonna take my AW, bro.
Nah, Stitch got there first. Then.
Oh yeah,
Stitch
he did.
got that first.
Well, he didn't put Robert though.
Well, then neither of
But
I guess.
But even we used to say Rob and Rob when it happened and shit. We said the same thing. So I'm gonna put Stitch.
Jack Gates, if I was the judge, I would give you the points because
it's
we
not my
definitely
podcast,
pointed
right?
out Robert and Rob, but Stitch, we're gonna give it to you, I guess.
That's cold-blooded, man.
Jack's like, I ain't having this shit.
Okay.
Jack is coming for blood now. That man was quick.
Okay.
Knives out.
Let's see. I continue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next one is an easy one. What is Mr. T's outro phrase? I want it fully written down.
So, what's the points? Where are we at right now?
Muhammad is at 3. Jack is at 2, and Stitch, Weister, and 8 Ball are
first person to 5, or I'd say Muhammad gets it. Or wait,
No.
only half.
No, Donick.
Donnick's got it.
No, he didn't spell it
Sorry.
out.
No, wait,
guys, what we're doing, guys.
That's not exactly what T says. That's what I'm saying. If you want to be fussy about it, that's what I'm saying.
You did specify saying the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go.
Now Jack got
Gates.
it.
Jack Gates.
That's better.
I feel like TT has the greatest fan base. That's what it is.
Hey, I came here because of T. I also would never have known you guys.
Wow.
I found T and I started watching his videos, and then he at one point promoted the podcast, and then I think after that I subscribed to each of you in order afterwards. Okay, where was I? Okay. Technically, it's also an easy one. Next question is, how often has Robert been to E3?
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's,
I'm pretty sure I know.
I'm liking these questions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I try to
let
make
me-
sure to get questions and about the podcast and about the members to kind of an equal number. Yeah, Mohammed got it already.
Oh,
Yep, Muhammad is one away.
we got a game, y'all.
First one to 5. So this next question could be the end.
I'll say Mohammed's on 4 now.
Okay.
I feel like Jack is still doing his extra points for fucking T's question. That is something I forgot about. He used to have the R wings in his other videos.
Okay, so you just want to go to 5 points?
Yep. I think that could make it
Because
interesting.
then I will skip this question.
Get a hard one now. Come on, Retro. Do it.
Yeah. Muhammad's only been watching
Okay.
for what, within the last year or so that I know of. So maybe go
Let's
a little
see.
bit further back. See
Go balls deep, y'all.
Okay. I'll take this one then because I thought it was a pretty funny one. Okay, so Mr. D and me, Retro Death, had a pretty big back and forth at one point. We made several videos about this, and within the gaming community, a lot of people started making videos about this too. What was that topic?
Oh God.
Good one.
I remember the fight. I don't remember the damn video.
And I don't
Because
care. I don't care what anybody says. Like everybody started making videos after
it
TNI
was a
started.
running joke too, because like, what was it? Retro wouldn't watch T's video for like the longest time.
And that's not the.
We're still looking for the
Nah.
answer.
It's definitely not third-party support. That was
So
me.
the two front runners got it wrong. They got the same wrong answer, which is weird. There you go.
Yeah, boom.
God
Winner.
damn, Jack take nails, bro.
Muhammad wins an Xbox One X
You're not gonna give it to him.
Mini.
You said it. It's incomprehensible. It's a verbal agreement.
A mini made out of cardboard.
No, so now he's adding on stipulations.
Way to go, Muhammad. Good
Well
job,
done,
man.
Mohammed.
The funny thing is, if we would have gone longer and Mohammed wasn't here, I actually had another question ready.
Why don't you just ask him for fun?
What's the last question? Or read one more question.
No, I had a lot of questions, but I had a question, but I only would have answered it if he wasn't there. I had a question.
Oh.
Okay, it's over here. The Juice Loose crew often makes fun of Xbox, calling out a member in the chat. What is his name?
How dare you?
How fitting he won, and you had a question about him.
That's how memorable of a fan he is.
He's left an impression. He's a good
job,
sport.
Mohammed.
He's a
You're
good
not
sport.
team.
You know, I
Good
don't know if he
people,
was.
good people, Mohammed.
I don't know if he was here when we were talking about Xbox weekly sales getting destroyed by Switch and PS4 still. I don't know if
Jack, you should have shown that Metroid Prime 2 love, man. You should have
you
mentioned
could have
that.
took the win. But his pride is or not his pride, his is it pride? What's the word I'm looking? Integrity?
Yeah, integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xbox One E3.
Oh,
No,
how dare you.
Xbox showed the most
dare
games
you.
at E3.
He did. Listen, Xbox did well. That's all I'll give you.
They showed the most games that I'm gonna be playing on my PC and PS4.
We're taking it back to Xbox One X. You just won, Mohammed.
Oh,
That my game of show was Rage 2 shown at the oh wait, that was Bethesda.
that was Bethesda. What?
Ori
That
was number
that
2 though.
Retro's favorite conference.
Will o' the Wisp was my number 2 game of E3.
Oh Lord.
So I guess in a way, Xbox One because I'm buying that on my PC.
Ah, you get it? Xbox One.
That's how I meant it. So
Oh,
I
Christ.
have a discussion which could last a whole 5 minutes or it could go a half hour. I don't know.
Well, let's see.
Because me and Clocked were talking about this while we were playing Fortnite the other night. And I wasn't sure if this would be a good topic. And I know T's been muted because he's, having some connection issues with his phone. But I thought he would probably be the one that cared the least about this. But so Wolfenstein 2 come out on the Switch. and Digital Foundry did their thing. And it was, if you guys remember when they first announced those games, Doom and Wolfenstein, I thought Wolfenstein was a 30 frames per second game. And it was right after we found out Doom was going to be 30 frames per second and with all the visual downgrades. And I was talking back then about, I was like, all right, if Doom's 60, then they dropped it to 30 and cut the resolution and texture so low. What's going to happen to Wolfenstein 2? Because I thought Wolfenstein 2 looks so good. I thought for sure it was 30 frames per second. Turns out that was a 60 frames per second game on PS4.
To be fair, it's not a locked 60.
No,
even on PS4 and whatnot.
PS4 is pretty close. It's pretty solid. Obviously on the Pro, it's pretty much locked at 1080. But so I'm watching their analysis, and they basically said, it's like Doom, but it has more occasions of the super low resolution, like below 480. I think it even gets like 3.
I think it was 360 is what they
in
mentioned.
docked, and it's not. I played Doom 50 hours. I love it on the Switch. Still Doom plays great. I have no issues. But the question is Wolfenstein 2, is that on the line now for when a developer should just say, you know what, it's not worth it. The sacrifices are too great. Where's that line? And is Wolfenstein got one toe over that line for porting a game to Switch and making too many sacrifices? Because there is a whole section of Wolfenstein 2 in New Orleans, which is outdoors, where it's like consistently 480p or lower and barely hitting 20 to 24 frames per second. Now in Doom, that happened in like 2 small sections, the frame rate. And overall, yeah, there's some blurry areas, but it's still playable and still enjoyable. But I kind of feel like Wolfenstein 2 is at that line where anything further, it probably shouldn't even be ported at that point. There'd be too many sacrifices. What do you guys think?
So
I don't have much to say, but I want to start with this because I remember when Beyond Good and Evil 2, the first trailer came, and I said from the start, there is no way this is going to come to Switch. This is way too intense. It's way too beautiful. With the planetary system, what they wanted to do, there's no way it's going to come to Switch. And I remember you guys saying, some of you, like anything can be ported to the Switch. And I said, what are you going to do? You're going to take like the pre-alpha and downgrade that. And some of you said, yeah, you can do that. And I'm at the point where I'm like, no, if you do that, don't release it on the Switch. You don't need to. Most runs can run properly. If you see like Doom and Wolfenstein, I think it looks great. But if you're actually going to have to, for example, remove all the textures and shit and lighting effects, I'm like, then no, it's not worth it at that point.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting towards. And I said, they could port it. At that point, we hadn't even seen the Beyond Good and Evil, really what the game was. And I think Starlink proves you can still have the Switch can handle it, flying off planets and stuff, but
and that game looks good, Starlink.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's more of just how far, like the thing with Wolfenstein 2, for anybody that didn't watch it, the analysis is, and same with Doom, their goal was to keep every effect, like anti-aliasing, dynamic lighting, everything, and then the sacrifice is frame rate and resolution. The alternative would be to turn off like anti-aliasing, turn off the dynamic lighting, and just have a higher res, cleaner image, but be kind of stale, stagnant, static lighting and that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's 2 approaches, and we haven't seen anyone really try the other one. I would compare anybody that has Wolfenstein: The New Order on the PS4. Basically, that is a 7th gen game in 1080p, 60 frames per second. And it does look pretty, even though it's sharp and clean, it's a very dead looking world without the more advanced lighting, the polygons, the character models are rougher, but it's a clean looking game. Like, it's very sharp, very clean. So, I mean, they could opted to do that. Another developer might, like Call of Duty might, we want 60, so we're going to take away the advanced lighting. You just have 7th gen looking stagnant lighting, and maybe turn off the anti-aliasing or something. That could be a possible alternative for a different game. But as far as I can tell, I think I really think Wolfenstein is right at the line, and I wouldn't want to see any more sacrifices be made to get a game on the Switch.
Wrong.
Go ahead.
Surprise, motherfucker! Do your best Samuel Jackson impression.
You're wrong.
Go ahead, T.
What were the sacrifices made for Breath of the Wild in the Kokiri Forest, man?
None. The frame rate.
No, I haven't gotten to anywhere where those issues are happening. I don't know what level that is.
Yeah, it's later on when you get to New Orleans. It's like a big outdoor.
Okay. Well, from what I've been playing so far, I feel like the game is outstanding. To me, it's already good enough to warrant whatever is coming in the future as far as that stuff goes. Because if you're talking about just 1 second, because I heard that some of the outside stuff was, definitely a lot blurrier and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen actual screenshots and video, and it's like you can't even tell what the texture's supposed to be. Like it's very blurry.
Yeah. But man, especially with gyro, like I played without it.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
He's drunk.
We might have lost him.
He fell over mid-sentence.
Well, I know what he was saying is you have to start the game without gyro. I think you have to make it through like the opening area before you can go to the options. Yeah, according to Sean Long's review, I think. Yeah, T, you're cutting in and out.
I heard a whisper.
It's like yeah. I would say the beginning of the game, like they showed where he's walking around like a lit. It looks like a. that's
the
weird.
whisper beyond the cell phone.
Where it looks like he's walking in the daytime down a street with like people, just walk around like a diner and stuff. Like that whole area runs at 720, like lock 30, like, and it looks really good. It's when it starts to the other area, the bigger areas. I'm wondering, like Anthem, which is all about big big open world areas. And I know we've seen open world games and stuff, but it's just, T had some good thoughts going. So let's go to Clocked It, because I know we and you talked about it off air.
Being able.
Oh, he's going back.
I heard it. I heard a whisper.
Go ahead, Clocked It.
He's gone. Yeah. Yeah. This is such a deep conversation. I feel. We had one quickly about it. Gave our quick thoughts on it. And I think when we were talking about Wolfenstein, we were looking at it and we were like, this. I mean, I think there's no denying that it's a phenomenal looking game on the Switch. It looks great, and for the most part, it does its job. Do I think that the Switch is starting to get there now with certain AAA games of this level? Nearly. Not yet. I mean, you can see some creaks and stuff now, but you do get the feeling that we're starting to reach a point where it's going to be interesting to see really how much more it can do. If it's creaking at Wolfenstein 2 levels. Do I think we should stop here? No, because one game I forgot to mention which was absolutely horrendous, where it shouldn't have happened, and that was Borderlands 2 on the PlayStation Vita. Now, I didn't actually play this myself, but I saw plenty of videos on it, and that is a version of the game that shouldn't have existed. It was a horrendous port. Absolutely terrible, really bad frame rates, really bad textures. It just shouldn't have been on a console. In some respects, it didn't need to be. The Switch isn't there yet, but like we have seen with some levels of Wolfenstein, they've had to make some sacrifices. Is it unplayable? No. Is it attractive? Yes and no. It's going to be interesting. I think we need to see in another year. In another year, what this console could really do. We mentioned Metro Prime 4. I want to see what they do with Prime 4. I want to see what they do with the next Zelda. And we mentioned Starlink. Starlink looks so much more polished now. That game looks great. Really, really good on the system. But yeah, I mean, Wolfenstein 2 might be creaking. Uh, I think we got a bit further to go, but we're not at the point of unplayable yet. But it's all down to taste, isn't it?
And I think you said if the whole game played like the worst sections, then I think that'd be
Yeah, I mean,
not.
what we also talked about is, I mean, like I said, I grew up in the N64 era. I say grew up. I was like 19, 18 years old or whatever. But I was playing the N64. Now, back then, I can't use this comparison anymore because I mentioned, I played Perfect Dark and I played it to death, and that game literally ran. This was confirmed by the developers. The frame rate was open. It ran between 1 frame per second and 60 frames per second. And when you're on the spaceship at the end, fighting aliens as they come onto the bridge, that game, I saw it run at 1 frame per second, and I don't know how I completed that level. I don't know how I did it, but it was Perfect Dark. I pushed through it, and it was amazing. If that game released today, if a game released today like Perfect Dark, with that type of performance, it would go in a bin. So I think for many of us now, as much as we, are happy to take some frame rate losses, some blurry textures here, a drop in resolution here and anywhere, there's now a certain level of respectability in terms of performance that I feel like we all demand and should have. 480p I can still deal with for the most part. Blurry texture I can still deal with for the most part. A jittery frame rate I can still deal with for the most part here. But when you start going below that, and especially if it's constantly throughout the whole game, that's where the line is starting to cross a bit now. So I'm a very open person with frame rate drops. Very open person with blurry textures and resolutions. But yeah, I feel like it. I mean, if you actually think about games that have released today, how many games are from most common developers are that bad? Hardly any.
Yeah.
Hardly any. We're in a good point at the moment where most games are at least 720p, and 30 frames per second, and then some might dip below that here and there, depending on what the game might be, i.e., Wolfenstein. But for the most part, even through Wolfenstein's case, it still runs smoothly for the most part. Might have a few jittery levels and a few blurry textures, but as T said, and I know he probably can chime in now. He's playing it and he's loving it. And I feel sales wise for this game has shown that people are happy once again to take certain sacrifices to have a game on the platform of their choice. So
yeah,
it's
getting back to, you said something about Zelda, or T was bringing up Zelda, I think jokingly, but the Korok Forest, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Well, it was the Lost Woods, wasn't it?
The Lost Woods,
Yeah, I
but
think
when
it's
you actually
basically
got to the
the
Dacre
Lost
tree, if the
It was
whole
a Korok,
game
yeah.
if the whole game ran like that, I think there would have been major backlash. Like, I don't know that I would have wanted to play through the whole game. When you're turning, everything just looks off. It's running slow. The combat would have been.
Well, I
I
think
mean, your button presses wouldn't have always registered. Like, if the whole game was like that, we'd be having I don't think the Switch would be half as successful if their launch title had been poorly optimized and couldn't have handled it. So I'm just want to point out how like a few little areas or some minor frame rates here and there, are fine. But if the whole game ran like that, then we're talking. Then it's like not Nintendo anymore; it's Sega. So that's unacceptable.
wow, how dare you?
So go ahead, Terrell.
I didn't want to throw in my 2 cents. Just speaking on the Zelda topic, I was pretty sure the reason why the Korok Force ran bad in the Switch version, it was some weird conversion with the Wii U version, and they couldn't get it to run fine. And they were because if you notice in later patches, it did run slightly better
Did get better, yeah.
in the later patches of the game. But I think at that point the retail version was out and they couldn't do enough to fix it. So I don't think that was more of hitting them. I would say if Breath of the Wild was built ground up for Switch, it probably wouldn't have been there to begin with. I think it's really just because it was a conversion.
Yeah.
That's neither
it
here
still
nor there.
does it, even after all the updates. I
Oh,
played
no. Yeah, I know it still slows down. I'm just saying. I think part of that's just because it was a Wii U conversion kind of game. But getting to the main point with Wolfenstein, it's a weird thing because although they made sacrifices to the point where they had to add in like that wall and to make sure the load wasn't as bad, I think we still have room. And the reason why I think we still have room because they did all this just to maintain the aesthetic of the game. If they said fuck it and just wanted the game to run well, we would have got a very different title. But that tells me that they were using techniques that most people haven't even. I don't think any other company. I think they said it had shown up once before on the 360. I forget the game he used in the video as a reference.
Chronicles of Riddick, that was.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe those tactics are just now starting to be used again more consistently. So maybe I would make the presumption that there's probably still room to go. I don't think it's an insane amount of room, and I think once the PS5, because like I said, even the Xbox One and the base PS4 struggled to put this game at 60. Now I understand the PS4 was closer to it than you would think, but the fact that the Xbox One was struggling as much as it was, and it wasn't like a huge amount, but you could see some definite drops. That tells me that I think that's just a current gen problem in general. And when they do finally switch over to the next gen, it'll become a bigger issue. But for right now, I don't think it's that detrimental. And the good news is that most games, because most developers can't afford to do this, are lower budget anyway. Like Wolfenstein 2 is not the rule, it's more the exception. There's only a few higher budget studios that can afford to put out that level of quality games all the damn time. So I think we still have room to go, and they still have room to compromise if they really wanted to. And the thing is, it all depends on the game, because I think it's like you said, if you were doing some of those corridor sections, it runs, it looks pretty good. It looks, in some cases, looks better than Doom did in its comparison. I think it all depends on if we're going to keep maintaining this open world mentality and trying to push these wide open spaces. That's going to be kind of the determining factor, is how the game is designed. But I think we still have room to go, and I think the Switch, at the very least, should be good for at least another year or two. It all kind of depends on how the industry moves forward and what games we're still pushing. So, yeah.
All right, T, how your mic in?
Yeah, can you hear me?
He's
It's a little
whispering.
quiet, but we can hear you.
Like the Yin Yang twins, y'all.
You now?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the question?
We're still talking about the line of when maybe it's
Drop my key.
too many sacrifices to put a game on Switch versus, forcing one. And we haven't seen one that just absolutely runs terrible. I mean, Rime had its issues in the beginning.
But even with stuff like Rime, I don't think it was a horsepower issue. It was just a programming and resources issue. If you put time into it.
I agree with that.
The game,
Yeah, just poor optimization.
right. So, I mean, that's going to continue to be a thing until somebody's like, well, the Switch is doing so well, we have to have another little development group of guys putting this game together at the same time. And, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but yeah, like I was saying with Wolfenstein, I don't think we've hit a threshold yet, because I think, like you were saying, we have to get to a point where the game just completely runs like dog shit the whole time.
Yeah.
And, area here, area there. There are games that are for the other consoles that do that, obviously at a different level, like Dark Souls is notoriously known for that one section, that one town that.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Original Xbox 360. But that was fine, and that should be fine cases like that should be fine for the Switch. Now, I think Terrell was saying we're going to get to a point in a couple of years or so where it's just, again, it's going to be certain games that are just not going to make a good port to Switch. And I think we're still a couple of years away from that. And again, it's only going to be certain games. I think especially most Japanese third-party stuff, they're not like pushing graphics and all that stuff anyway.
Right.
So we're still going to be fine on most of that stuff. So I think Switch still has some legs.
And the Crash, did you? Yeah, you didn't get that yet. Crash was 30 on PS4, so I think that was kind of an interesting thing to see. They removed the fur, which I mean,
I'll say it looks better.
When you're playing the game, isn't a huge deal. Runs at 720, but I mean, it looks pretty good, pretty clean. I would say pretty comparable overall. Runs at the same frame rate. So I mean, that's an example where I mean, it's a really good looking PS4 game for sure. But it also looks pretty damn good on the Switch. So I mean, depending on the art style and probably the game engine, and it's just wonder if they put a full effort into that. It took one guy working on his own to show him the game could be ported. I wonder if they gave a full team to it, or if it just that one guy was like.
I would say it probably didn't, because I don't know, did you watch that frame rate comparison between all the Crash versions?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, like the Switch randomly will drop frames in the beginning cutscene, and then the Xbox One and Switch versions seem to fluctuate like around 27 to 31 a lot. Not like, well, it's not a lot, probably like occasionally, like very occasionally. So something tells me that the ports weren't as optimized as like the PS4 version.
Mm-hmm.
I'll link the video in our chat later. Like it's not like offensively bad, but you can tell it has less polish on it compared to the original PS4 game.
Yeah, I'm thinking they had like 5 people work on the Switch port. That's just a theory. Because one guy got a level working in a night or 2 nights, or weekend or whatever of his own time.
I think Crash Bandicoot once again is a developer thing. I look at that game and then look at Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and I consider them to be night and bloody day. So I don't know
feel like that's not a fair comparison, sir.
It is a fair comparison.
Okay, as long as you recognize that you that's a hell of a jump, sir. Even I don't even fucking like DK like that, but even I recognize that game is on some god tier level design shit. That's
which one I was reading the chat. What?
Huh?
What'd you say is a god tier level design?
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about graphically here and resolution and frame rates and everything like that. It's
well, that too.
I mean,
although
yeah,
you got to be fair, that game is like a 2D game, so it's not.
But it's a 2D playing game, but it's 3D character models and everything.
Yeah, everything is 3D in a game.
But part of frame rate issues in 3D worlds, in massive open worlds, is moving the camera. Because if you notice playing Fortnite,
you don't do that in Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
it's all fixed camera.
You're right.
Yeah, so I would say
so. It should look
optimized.
It should look way better. I mean, that's a good point. But they're gonna get their sales with minimal effort, from what it sounds like. Maybe they'll patch it, fix it later. But they had to know that it was gonna sell well. It was 4 million on PS4. Like you'd think they would have put a little more effort into it. Hopefully, they can. I hate saying this. They can put some patches out that maybe make it run a little better, like some games have done. Even Nintendo did it with Zelda. But I think it's just an example of a game that's pretty comparable, like Snake Pass. Fairly comparable. Right after the Switch came out, a quick port, but fairly comparable to Xbox One version.
I think the biggest issue people need to remember is that just because the game doesn't play inherently well on Switch doesn't mean the Switch can't run it. What it really is that these games need to come out by a certain time and date. You have deadlines, and people only have a certain amount of resources to port these games over or do the changes they need to do. And because Switch would be the console that requires the most changes, it's not necessarily that the games can't be run or even run like at a lock 30 or even a lock 60 for certain games. is I got like 3 months to do it, and the game has to go gold at least like a few weeks in advance. So I think that's more of the issue than anything. It's just the time you got to do it. Sorry for cutting you off. Just go ahead.
Well, I pretty much wrapped up my thoughts, but I was also kind of thinking to the second part of the question was we're talking about the line. Where's the line at? Is there a game like a God of War, or something on PS4 or PC, that you think, there's no way the Switch could make a decent version of that. Like, I'm trying to think if there's one in my mind. I mean, I haven't played God of War. I've seen only YouTube videos. I mean, it looks good, but
God of War, I think could be.
Rise of the Tomb Raider ran on the Xbox 360, and it looks pretty good, and it runs at almost a solid 30 the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there's I can't even think of a Sony made game that would do that other than where you couldn't get that game to run. I can't think of any that they put out.
I know people want to say that I saw that when Shadow of the Tomb Raider gameplay came out.
Oh,
no way that run on the Switch. And I'm like, Rise of the Tomb Raider ran on the Xbox 360. How the fuck when...
All right, love everyone. I'll try to come back in a little bit.
Hey, T's wife. You home?
Yeah.
Nice.
He made it, y'all. He made it. It was a long struggle, but he made it.
Kids are happy to see him. Wife's happy to see him. But anyway,
he got on his damn computer talking to the boys.
When you watch like the Rise of the Tomb Raider, I just challenge anybody, go watch the comparison, the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One version. And yeah, they had this. Whoa, hearing the echo.
He's drunk echoing again.
Hey, come on,
T. There we go.
There you go. There you go.
Echo.
Oh.
All right. What was I saying? Yeah, to get Rise of the Tomb Raider on 360, they had to cut out the when you're walking through the snow like effect and a lot of the dynamic lighting and stuff, but they got a pretty close version of the game. So I think it really depends on what their priorities are. And it will be interesting to see if, what Panic Button's next game, which is apparently going to be announced sometime this month, and what possibly like a game that's like a 60 frames per second, like a Call of Duty. And I know Overwatch, Blizzard was like, yeah, we're too strict on how a game performs, to consider a Switch version. They want the 60 frames per second, even though Paladins runs at 60. So it could be done. It'll just be kind of interesting to see which games, which studios, what they do in the future, what games we see, and then how they actually get around, the less power, what they choose to do.
Yeah.
Do we want to guess on what game or what game you would like it to be that they're gonna do?
Panic Button. I mean,
yeah.
My initial thought was Fallout 4, but I'm not.
Because that's out the window.
Well,
I don't know though. That could be a bait and switch.
Why is it the window? Did I miss something?
Because what's his name? Todd Howard was like, "Oh, it's not. We're not really thinking of that right now."
Ah, bullshit.
But I don't know if I believe it.
Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
That's my most likely one. I can't really think of anything else.
Game I would want. I guess we could do one where like one we want and one we would think it would be.
Maybe it could be like Tomb Raider.
I mean, I'd love that, but I don't think.
Just would buy the game again. He would lie to us. He'd be like,
I'd probably
I
buy
already bought
Rise
the
if it
game
had-
on the PC. I don't need it. And he buy it again.
They would have bring Rise of the Tomb Raider now.
No.
They're not doing a new one.
They might. Well, that's Square in it anyway. So
Maybe,
I think Square. I think that'd be a fair one.
I'd have to see what came out on PS4, Xbox One since like November of last year. See what game.
I would think. I take a shot in the dark and say it's Monster Hunter World, if anything.
It's a weird thing to say anyway, that you don't think it's the Tomb Raider because of the new Tomb Raider, but you'd still say Fallout 4 even though 76 has been announced.
Also, why would you say Wolfenstein 2? Well, that's not as fair of a comparison, but still, it's not like they give a fuck about continuity because we're not getting the first Wolfenstein game.
It's true.
So Rise of the Tomb Raider, I think, is a fair Square, if one heard Square has recently.
Oh, we're getting robot voice.
What the fuck? There's no consistency when this happens to me because
This is the 200th episode, everybody.
We drop quality like a motherfucker.
It's because Robert ain't here.
What? Whoa, Robert is the glue that holds us together.
Anybody in the chat got to guess what? Someone said Fallout 3. I think
oh, T's heavy. He's home now. He's like, look at this good ass quality. Look how slick and smooth my voice sounds, babe. y'all want all of this.
What's the point?
Sound like T was talking from the cockpit.
What's the point of having shit on your phones when shit doesn't work? What's the point? What's the point of having these apps and then they don't work for shit?
They don't work well at all.
Yeah. Talk about optimize.
That's fucking just like we need to move the Discord, guys.
Yeah.
we need to start doing streams off of Discord chat.
Oh goodness!
It took Juice forever to get a goddamn capture card.
I still haven't got one.
I know that's the reason. That's the joke I'm making. It's taking me forever to get a goddamn capture card.
Why? Only 5 people watch my live streams. So.
But you got you have a green screen though?
Got these man rebuying PC games on PC just so he can have some shit to stream.
That's some shit, yo. T, chill out. My God.
Any other guesses?
Oh yeah, guesses.
I'm back in my brain. I can't think of much.
Grand Theft Auto 5, duh.
I think that'd be some stupid shit.
Could be.
Hey, we're reporting GTA 5 online.
Yeah. So what you guys discounted Fallout because of 76?
No,
And that's what I said to them. Like you're saying like it can be Tomb Raider because of new Tomb Raider, but then they still say Fallout 4 even though 76.
I just think it'd be a new precedent of announcing a game that would potentially come out, right around the same time for the Switch.
Yeah.
I'd love it to be a new game that's going to be closer to day and date and not
I think it would be odd if they're gonna make kind of not a big deal out of it, but to make an announcement and then have it be something like that where people can be like, "Oh, seriously, we getting 76 over here, and you guys are dropping Fallout 4?" Like,
yeah, I think that would be a thing. People would be like,
I think I'll take a guess to say it's Overwatch if I had to guess one because they're still releasing content for Overwatch. And Overwatch still sells well.
Paladins proves that art style you could just
you can do it
and hit 60.
So it's not like it's impossible.
Isn't whatchamacallit still at 30?
What?
Fortnite?
Fortnite is.
Yeah,
and
but
it definitely, I've noticed going from PC to Switch, there's a few sections where it's not like the frame rate, so it's just like the game hitches for a second. Like,
whoa, I was gonna say
like Doom does.
I was playing it and I was looking at other players and they looked like they was having a seizure and shit.
Yeah, I think your other players move at like 15 frames per second.
Yeah, it was it looked like I hate to put it in this category, but it looked like what's the game? Rogue Trooper.
Oh yeah.
That was some jaggy.
It might be a way.
It's the Blue Man Group, y'all.
It might be a way to get around. Like you're moving at 30 and everything, but their character that you're seeing moves at a lower resolution or lower frame rate to keep everything else up. Because one of the things I will say is, and I put it on PC. I had it at 30. I didn't know it was defaulted to 30 max settings, and I was like, I didn't notice a big difference when I went on Switch, but then I bumped it up to 60. And my PC's, the graphics card I have is from late 2015. So it doesn't run it perfect. So I actually had to lower the draw distance or the shadow quality, stuff like that. But when I turned the Switch back on, right after playing like a couple hours on PC, I was like, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'll do a couple more challenges. And it wasn't that like, oh my God, this looks terrible. I was like, man, this holds up really well. I even took a screenshot of the sunset. I was like, man, this game actually looks pretty damn good on the Switch. And, it's got a few little hiccups there, but it's pretty much the same experience. So,
and it wasn't the whole time either. It was just like certain points.
And I haven't even noticed it since that one time. And it was funny. We were laughing because it looked so weird, but I actually haven't even noticed it since.
Rogue Trooper, man, and it's funny in Rogue Trooper because that game is just janky as hell anyway. So.
I think Yeah, didn't you do a gameplay of that, T? Because that's what I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
I
that's-
remember they playing.
Go guys, go check it out on his channel.
Oh, I got another video y'all can look at coming up soon.
Ah,
tonight.
you fucking garbage.
I want to see your face
Man
again.
had it uploaded on his drive home. I see what you
I had
did.
to take a little vacation from it because I was like on a week-long birthday celebration, so that's why I haven't put up any videos. But
He's getting all fucked up.
Well, yeah. I guess the only other thing, since we're still on the tail end of this graphics thing, and Clocked it mentioned it real quick when we were talking while we were playing Fortnite the other night. Like, is Wolfenstein 2, like when it looks its best on Switch? Like I was like, man, that looks really good. But it's running at 30. I have a feeling Metroid Prime 4 they're targeting 60 because the other versions hit 60.
Oh, obviously.
So I'm wondering, it's kind of built up. I mean, we've seen a lot of Nintendo games in HD for the first time since, in the last 4 years. We still haven't seen Metroid in HD officially from Nintendo. And I'm just like, are people gonna be slightly disappointed if they go for 60? Is it not gonna live up to maybe what some people have been anticipating the first HD Metroid? Because we see what 30 frames per second games can do, but that's with a lot of modern game engine lighting techniques and stuff.
do
So
we have any?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do we have any idea what engine?
I
No, we
don't
don't know.
know.
We
We
just
don't know
assume,
anything, do
we're
we?
just assuming it's Unreal Engine 4.
I know somebody thought that, but
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and assume that the art style for Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be very different to the other games or even what you're used to seeing Metroid in. And that'll probably make up for maybe the not as heavy and intense graphics as people are expecting.
yeah, I'm almost thinking not full cell shaded, but some kind of art.
Something around like a fusion.
So
Yeah.
let me add
can't
that.
go
Let me add it here because I said me and Juice were talking about this. I said that you have to remember that the Metroid Prime games, they already had their own unique art style. They never pushed realistic looking graphics or anything like that. They didn't look like Killzone on a PS2 or Black on a PS2 or even like Halo 2 or anything like that. These they had their unique art styles anyway. So when you say you feel like they're gonna have a completely different art style, I don't think they will. I think it's still gonna have a very it's gonna look much better than Metro Prime 3, which is what we had on Wii, which looked phenomenal. Metro Prime 3 is probably still one of the best looking Wii games ever released.
Have you seen that game on like Dolphin?
Yeah, you see it in
Like, the
HD.
game
It
looks
it's
disgusting.
beautiful.
It still
Lovely
looks really
blue
good.
lighting. Yeah, it's a gorgeous game. Prime 4 won't be cell shaded anything like that. It'll have its own unique art style, almost maybe even like Breath of the Wild. In terms of the type of engine, but they'll hit 60. It'll look gorgeous, and if anyone's expecting what I would say, if anyone's expecting it to look like Wolfenstein, then I say get that out of your head.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I just linked
I don't think cell shading will work because I think that'll take away from its dark aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say full cell shading, but when I think of like the first Metroid Prime game on the GameCube now, that was like, was it the art direction or the fact that it was on the GameCube they didn't really push for? Oh, I mean, yeah, it had texture work and stuff, but it's not like all the foliage was super detailed and like it.
But you got to remember for at the time that game blew away most other games on every other console.
Mhm.
Big time.
But the GameCube was second most powerful. I mean, it was not too far behind the Xbox.
Pretty powerful, yeah. But that's the thing, though. Like I said, even if you go back to it now, even if you play it on like Dolphin emulator, like the art style holds up. It visually still looks really good. So if they can't even just doubling the efforts of what they did with that game, like as far as the visuals, bumping them up, the art style is solid.
Yeah.
They should definitely be able to hit 60, with the game looking, twice
That is
like
the problem I have though, because it's like it could run 60, but will they? Because let's not forget the ultimate lazy work of Kirby Star Allies, which is running at 30. There's no reason why that game is running at 30. So it's like it could, but will they?
Excuse me, sir. The menus ran at 60. I don't want to hear you. shit.
Make no goddamn sense.
I don't for Metroid. I don't see them sacrificing
Yeah, I
the
don't
frame
see it.
rate.
Also,
but-
considering Kirby was really by the numbers, I don't think.
Kirby was super by the numbers.
Yeah.
Nintendo have they got their AAA games, and
You know-
the Prime series is a AAA game.
You don't bring back crime. You don't bring back Prime after all the crying of a decade for that, for the game to come back and then give them a 30 frame. I don't think you do that. I don't think you.
But Doom kind of proves that a game can play really fast.
No, it's not about that. I just think I just feel like Nintendo would want to target 60 for this game.
But my problem with that is like with Kirby, they don't even need to try to hit 30. They just didn't. Like the 60, I mean, you're not telling me that it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
it's not run at
way.
60. It's a super small game on top of it. It's like a super short game and shit.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
mean,
not like they don't have the space.
it's not like it looks vastly better than Tropical Freeze, which runs at 60.
But here's the thing: would 60 frame would that game be better at 60?
Probably wouldn't make that much.
But it's
difference.
not about being
Oh
good.
man, at 60.
It's just about.
No, I'm just
effort
saying.
they put in.
I'm just saying because we're saying the same thing. I'm saying the effort wasn't there all around for the game, not just the frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And I think,
I mean, what I will say. Sorry, just a quick added juice. What I will say about Kirby as well. It's kind of like with what we were talking about the other day with Nintendo's Online, where there's like no consistency across games and stuff. Now, I mean, it wasn't Nintendo themselves who developed Kirby, was it? It was in a Hell Laboratory.
Hell.
Yeah. Hal always does it. Always does the Kirby games.
Yeah. So, it's not exactly like.
But Hal has always done a great Kirby game.
and if Kirby games run at 60 in the past, I'm not.
I will, to be fair.
I can't.
I mean,
I can't think of any.
Kirby's kind of weird because
I don't think so.
I can't think of any Kirby game that's run at 60 in the past, unless maybe the 3DS game. I can't remember.
Yeah, but all the 3DS games did. That was the reason why people were mad, because it was a drop. The 3DS, it felt like a drop off from the 3DS to the Switch.
Yeah.
Because
And I mean,
Robot and Triple Deluxe did.
But the 3DS screen is 340p, so who cares?
Oh, I thought it was 480. It was 480, T.
No. But the thing is, people say Kirby looks so beautiful, but when it
Kirby looks good. Dead ass.
in the demo, when it zooms into, like, they don't look that. It's kind of almost like a cheat. Like, yeah, this game looks really good at the normal viewing distance, but when it zooms in on the characters in the backgrounds, I noticed like it really drops off in quality.
Really?
In the demo, it did. I'm just like, wow, it's like.
I don't see. I have the game. I haven't noticed that anywhere.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
most.
but I was like, that was the one thing I figured they just traded it. They said, well, we don't need to make it 60.
And that's when I was like, this feels like the Wii engine just in HD. That's kind of what it feels like.
I wouldn't say that. Just from what I've seen of it.
Because, I mean, Tropical Freeze just blows it out of the water on the Wii U as far as frame rate and visuals overall.
Well, Captain Toad looks way better on.
No, I feel like I can agree in terms of frame rate. I don't know if I agree in terms of visuals. That I think Kirby has. I mean, because I'm not saying DK doesn't look good. I'm just saying I don't. Kirby's not a slouch when it comes to visuals. At least that game isn't.
No, it's clean.
That's a clean ass looking game. I think that was the first thing people noticed. They were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, because remember how it looked, okay at first, and then people noticed the bump once they got closer to release.
Yeah, like when we got to I think it was like another when they showed it again in a direct or something. We were like, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah. I mean, I have the game. It looks pretty. I don't know if you're just going off the demo or not, but
Just the demo.
Yeah, it could be an earlier build. I have no idea, but
yeah, it's true.
It does look really good, but it's just it's a little generic and a little short.
Speaking of games and Captain Toad that you just brought up,
oh yeah, they did put.
We want to talk about the was it 4 Mario Odyssey themed areas? Yeah. Like I don't really mind getting rid of the 3D, like where you just go through the 3D world levels. I mean, I didn't even remember that. Like to me, like that was just a little bonus thing, and they didn't really play that well. Like, cause with Captain Toad, it was cool that they were there, but I don't mind that as much missing. You only could do 4 like Odyssey themed.
Well, what's the point of taking it out? The original game has them.
I know.
Why take them out?
I don't know why.
I guess because they're trying to move away from 3D World.
And it didn't play. It doesn't play anything like the rest of Captain Toad. Maybe they just thought that
3D World was such shit. Or wait a minute.
I don't think it was shit. I think
it was an amazing game.
I guess it's more of let's promote the newest Mario game kind of mentality.
Probably going to be on Switch in February anyway.
I'm curious about that. I'd be curious to see if they port 3D World.
I don't know that they would, but
3D World seems to be the weirdest thing. It's like you don't want to neglect the game, but it's like, do we really need it when you got like
you got Odyssey?
Are you saying do we need it really when it comes to these Wii U ports?
Okay, I'll put it this way
because we can go down the list.
The guy
I'll put it this way.
Fine with everything but Tropical Freeze.
No, I wouldn't. Well, Bayonetta made more sense. Tropical Freeze wasn't bad in itself. The way they handled Tropical Freeze was bad.
Yeah, the price was really the biggest.
No, my issue is that like it's the same reason why we disagreed about the whole Bayonetta versus Tropical Freeze argument. Tropical Freeze should have easily included at least the Wii game with it too. Like, fine, you can tell me Bayonetta was a rush, somewhat lazy port. That's fine, but at least I got 2 games out of that. I'm not even getting the first Wii game, and that's on the fucking 3DS.
Yeah, and then they still cheaped out with the cart.
And you still charge me, and you charge me $60 for it. You charge me $10 more. It's
That opened up that can of worms again.
At least Captain Toad was only 40. But it was a little bit of a bummer. I kind of thought there was only going to be a few Odyssey levels, and what you can get through them in 8 minutes. So it's definitely not worth double dipping for.
Like, not just 8. It's not 8 minutes per level. It's 8 minutes combined for all the levels together. But that's not even my biggest issue with it. Like, I thought that would be my biggest issue with it. I'm hearing reviewer after reviewer say, "Well, it's because it's just not as intuitive." You know, using
because you're using the gyro.
Yeah, having to look at those dots on the screen the whole time. You know, the little gyro indicators or whatever on the screen. It's a lot of people are just like, if you've played the original, there's really no need.
Yeah, unless you've never played the game.
Yeah, and they can't even make the gyro be like 1-to-1. It's so laggy looking when somebody it's
on all these same people the same people who curse out the Wii U for having 2 screens. So.
And now they're fine with Captain Toad. Like, I mean, in portable mode, it's 100% the Wii U version as far as the touchscreen stuff.
Yeah, I guess the good news is if you want to play it like the Wii U, you just have to play it in handheld mode.
I was thinking about just getting the 3DS version, but
that one, and then that's a weird choice that they decided to run the game on both screens instead of just having you tap the screen. You could have you put your finger on the screen and it'd put a little cursor on the up.
Just have a little, 2D map of whatever you're playing, and then like have you be able to do those gestures.
Because
they really, I mean, to get that game running on 2 screens, like
that's pretty amazing.
It's impressive, but just think how much more impressive it would look if they didn't do that and just
it feels like they put more effort into that 3DS version than they really should have.
Yeah,
or if it's the Switch version.
Nintendo, I mean, they didn't come with it in 2018. Honestly, I mean that's just facts. They got the right
right now.
They had the right third-party games coming. Like Fortnite was a big deal to keep people preoccupied. You know, they got all this.
Paladins is very cool.
They got fucking Mario plus Rapid DLC. You got Octo expansion, Octopath Traveler. With Fortnite, with Hollow Knight, like so many games are coming out within a month that it's kind of makes me not even think about the lackluster like Nintendo first party games this year, other than Smash at the end of the year. So I guess
I just got 5 games in the last week. So.
Bruh,
there's a lot of games.
I'm also mad because September's gonna be bullshit for me, yo. That's when the Xenoblade DLC comes out. That's when Fighters comes out. That's when SNK comes out. I think at least the Japanese version of the Ones with You comes out. Fucking Spider-Man comes out. I'm so man, they fucking assholes. You think I'm made of money?
What was that other?
We're gonna find out.
Oh yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 4 comes out in September.
There was another game where they announced the Japanese version,
Shining Resonance.
and they're like, "Oh, September," and then
God.
OJ's like, "The North American one should be out right around the same time." What
It's
the hell?
probably that's probably World's
talking
End
about
Review.
World-
No, it was something big. It was a bigger deal. Oh, Dragon Ball Fighters. I believe that's
Yeah.
September.
No, Dragon Ball Fighters had already been confirmed because I fucking
that one
pre-ordered
for September.
the game.
Did you
Already.
say that in your list?
Yeah. Dragon Ball Fighters. Oh yeah, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes out in September.
Oh goddamn!
And then they pushed up like it feels like Call of Duty's now coming out in October's.
I'm
like-
looking at the list right now. Oh right, in the Flipping Death. I forgot that comes out
God damn.
August. Then you got your sports games like FIFA and NBA.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. It's like it's hard to be too upset. And Juice, you're right on the money, 100%. I was hoping you were wrong, but after E3, I think you're right. It's hard to be too upset because I'm going to end up buying more Switch games this year than I bought last year.
Yeah,
And
you just have to wait longer to buy them.
And I'm getting close already to buying more. But the thing is, like, I need one or two Nintendo heavy hitters, without any BS.
The only one I think you're gonna get is probably Smash.
It's Smash, and that's in December. Like, that's just.
And to be fair, you'll have Mario Party in October, and so you have a family. So
I'm excited. I'm gonna play Pokemon, but it's not. That's not the Pokemon. That's a.
No. Yeah, that's not my Pokemon.
Right. So it's just like, and then they moved Fire Emblem, which has been one of those big.
In retrospect, consider all the shit I'm gonna end up playing in September. I'm not as mad about that as I was before.
I'm not gonna miss Fire Emblem. I'm comparing Octopath probably still. I ain't even finished Xenoblade 2 yet. So
well, yeah. The thing about Octopath comes out in 2 weeks, and then you got Pocket Rumble this week.
Like I'm not. Yeah, there's stuff to play. I just wanted a big major. Whoa, yeah, they did that, this year kind of thing from Nintendo.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get that. We all figured Smash was going to be here. We didn't think it was going to be a new one, but we thought it would be here this year. So that wasn't as impactful, especially with people running around saying it's a port.
So literally, after July 13th, which is when Captain Toad comes out.
Yeah.
We go from there until what? October for Mario Party? Is that it?
Yeah.
Is there anything else from Nintendo directly?
Nope.
And Octopath, apparently published by Nintendo, but that's a Square game.
Well, Nintendo has published a lot of games on Switch lately because Square can't be fucking trusted to publish their own fucking games. That's a whole nother rant.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Red Knight messaged me about something I think it was last night, and I was like, yeah, with Hollow Knight, Fortnite, and Rocket League, I'm all set for until then. I'm gonna get the DK adventure for Mario plus Rabbids, and then the Octo expansion at some point, and maybe Octopath Traveler. I said, but then it's pretty much for me for Switch games, for retail, it's probably gonna be Smash. I mean, with then some indie games, some digital games maybe in between. I did forget about Starlink and some of these other games that are potential.
That's like October.
But honestly, I bought Mario Tennis Aces, and
you're still going to be supporting that game for a while.
Even though I knew the adventure mode wasn't what I was hoping, it's just pretty shallow, but it's kind of fun. But I got like 2 hours in that game, maybe. And I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait to turn it on.
Well, this man was complaining about the fucking online system.
And then I was like, just for the hell of it, I'm gonna see what the friends lobby looks like. And it's fucking Wii Sports Club, but it doesn't have the timer. You create a friends lobby, it doesn't time out in 60 seconds.
Oh hell no!
You just create. You go to online, then you go to. It shows 0 rooms available, and then I click on that. And then it says create room. And maybe if friends had already created a room, I'd see them, but it doesn't tell you any of your friends, doesn't tell you anybody that's online. You just create a room, set the rules, and you just wait and hope somebody just happens to see, unless you've set something up, on not Skype, but Discord or Hangouts. That's the only way. Like it's not like ARMS where you say, oh, Terrell's playing party crash mode or something like.
That's a notch above NBA Playground Switch.
Yeah, it's like-
That's
and I can't confirm what would happen if the game was a huge hit and a bunch of friends had friends lobbies. I don't. I'm assuming they'd show up right there, and I'd be able to say insane game.
That game is literally the example of a game that has great mechanics and like everything else around it is just a bunch of shit.
I was so disappointed. I almost traded in for Crash on Sunday.
I'm surprised you debated that.
I considered trading Aces to get Crash for probably would have been cost
I didn't
me.
even realize you bought it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, he
And,
bought it because he
I
said,
played. I
"Oh
played
no!" In he said,
the
"Oh no!"
tournament mode, and I'm 0-5. I still haven't beat anybody because Bowser Jr. literally can stand at the net. You can try to lob one over him, and his arms are long enough he can just spike it down. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Ironically enough, there's a tier list for this game already.
Yeah.
And Bowser Jr. is at the top of the tier list.
Oh
so.
shit, he's a fuck. It's just so broken.
Well, it's him and Chain Chop.
I'll wait for Mario Golf.
It trips me out that Nintendo was like, "We're gonna have to."
I want Mario Golf, man.
We're gonna have to nerf.
But I will say,
nerf these tennis characters. What?
It's crazy. But even the simple mode, like I played the simple mode offline first. I'm like, all right, this is good. Me and the CPU, we can have a bunch of long volleys. And I play online, and the guy, whoever I was playing, could just like hit it at such an angle, it'd go just over the net, way to the edge, away from me. I had no chance. And like, there's these bullshit.
Remember, they all still are under their grouping. So I think like Rosalina and Boo are like fucking trash because they can hit a bunch of curve shots and you can't do shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta always be to me. If you're playing simple mode, you gotta always be playing the middle, or else you're just fucked.
Just like Mario versus Mario too. Like it should just be even. But it just feels like the mechanics are there. There should have been. It should be so much more polished. Should be so much more to it. And I should have. The warnings were there. The reviews were like 7s out of 10.
Don't worry, Juice. This is it's Nintendo on and online. September's coming. Everything's gonna be fixed by then. Everything's gonna be perfect, man. In September.
That's the part that pisses me off because a bunch of the games I'm looking forward to, like DBZ Fighters and SNK Heroines, are fucking online games, and you're gonna make me play for that.
I don't think you're gonna have to, honestly.
Oh, you think they're gonna delay it again?
No, I don't think. I don't think third-party games are even gonna be part of it.
Really?
Unless they want to.
I'd be curious to see.
Fortnite isn't going to all of a sudden change and run through the switches on. It already works perfect. There's no reason for anything different to happen.
Don't mess.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, everyone used to go online, go on Twitter and search Switch and Fortnite. You get the funniest clips of kids saying ridiculous shit on their voice chat. Like one kid was like, his dad walked in and goes, "Boy, bring your ass in here and get this pizza." He's like, "Dad, I'm on the end. I don't give a fuck what you want. Go get this pizza."
Wow.
And I was like, people are just clipping that shit. Is the funniest.
Yeah, the voice chat comes through. It doesn't. But the thing is, yeah, it captures the voice of the people in your party or on your team. I mean, but not your voice. So, just something people just to be aware of. Like I was playing and I heard T laughing and his kids talking, and then
what the fuck did you send me?
Something you'd like.
Oh, you bastard! The funny thing is, I've already seen it.
So is that Resort game from the Wii that's being remastered? Is that online?
Wait,
I'm not sure.
That would be a better buy probably than Mario Tennis.
Oh, you savage!
And I'm gonna be honest. Somebody got really mad about it, but I think they focused on the wrong part of what's bad about it. They're focused because the reviewers didn't have full access to the online because there wasn't enough players because only reviewers were online, so they couldn't fully review the online features and modes. And it's like that happens with every online only game when somebody doesn't review early. So that I don't know. I felt like that was a little irrational, so I bought the game. I kept my pre-order just because, all right, I'm going to buy this game because I think that's kind of silly. But some of the stuff that wasn't even mentioned is what's really the problem with it. in the online. So I'm pretty disappointed that.
It's a damn shame. Damn shame.
'Cause, I mean, the mechanics are good, but it's just the character balancing is terrible, and it's
Maybe that's what I do. I'll take that money I was going to play for
We
that
need
game.
Camelot to go back and.
Because I mean, the adventure's so short, and the AI is. I mean, there's some times where it's a little tricky, but for the most
I
part,
heard they had to patch in to make the game easier. I heard that like the fucking story mode, the leg part of the story mode was harder than it needed to be.
yeah, I guess I could see that. I actually, couple matches where I had to, put my skills out there. I was like struggling, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I just realized, all right, I'm gonna set them up to get all the way to this side, and then I'll hit it back to the other side. Once I figured that out, it got pretty easy. But overall, it's like it's gonna be with Super Bomberman R. It's gonna be right there in my regret.
By the way, I saw that in fucking Best Buy yesterday. I was
Bomberman.
I forgot that they released it on PS4 already, and like nobody said shit.
Bomberman came out on PS4.
Yeah, it's on PS4
Yeah,
and Xbox.
That's
and
right. I
forgot. I was like, when the? Oh, I know why. Because they also patched the Switch version with versions of Snake in it. It now has like
Snake and all these other.
It has like Naked Snake and Normal Snake and Bomberman, and it was like, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that.
Them dudes don't care about no damn Bomberman.
Well, it's just random because I forgot it came out. Also, I went in there to look to see how the Wolfenstein 2 sales were. Bro, I saw like no copies of that shit on the shelves. I had to go back where they have the cages, where they have the extra copies, and then I saw like a small stack of Wolfenstein.
I feel like they probably didn't get a lot of.
Yeah,
I think
a
big shipment.
Yeah, because they had Crash out there, but Wolfenstein was kind of hanging out in the back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Crash had like 3 to 4 times the amount.
Yeah, Panic Button liked my tweet with the Wolfenstein 2 and the Switch. So that's something.
Did you print out some? Did you print out the PDF of the different covers, and so you can get rid of that ugly banner?
I did not yet, but I will.
Because that's fucking ugly.
It's ugly.
God,
what I did so far is I flipped it over. It doesn't look great on the other side. It's just it's not like it's a reversible cover or anything, but it's way better than an ugly ass banner.
What are you talking about here? Sorry.
Do we know how much space? You guys already know that, right?
You got the physical. I don't know how much.
It's like
extra.
21.8, right?
I know how much the full game is, but I don't know how much extra.
It's 8 gigs.
8 gigs on top of the cart. So yeah, they use a 16 gig cart. Sounds like pretty much.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't be mad at them for that now because we thought the game was only 13 gigs.
Yeah,
initially.
I was pissed off when I saw that, but when I learned that it wasn't, and I was like, all right.
But you're still making me download shit.
Seems
so
like
yeah.
Seems like what they say on the PS4, all the video took like 7 gigs, so they figured on the Switch that's probably like 3 to 4 gigs for
talking
all
about the PDF thing,
cutscenes,
Digital Foundry shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that bigger file size meant, higher quality audio, but no one's talked about it yet, so I don't know.
Like I love the motion controls in this game. It's so good. Like I said, I started with dual analog and I was pissed. Like I was not aiming well at all. And I was like,
yeah, you can't. Someone said you can't access the options until you get past the opening or something.
That's right. And I thought something was wrong with my cart. I'm like, what is going on? Like I thought it wasn't working or something. So I had to play with dual analog at first, and I was like, what the hell? And so
clearly they did it from Doom, haven't they? To refine those controls. So it's good.
If anybody wants the alternative covers, there's a link to the PDFs.
Thanks for that.
They're not the same. It's different than the main cover, but I wish they just had the main cover without the.
Was that in the?
Oh wait, here it is. Sorry.
What chat is that in?
It's in the live chat. I'll send it in the Hangouts, our usual.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely want this. It looks so much better. I wonder what kind of paper. I wouldn't want to use like thick photo paper, but I wouldn't want to use cheap.
I've used that before and it works out.
Does it?
Pretty well.
Yeah, if you let me just link you the main where there's a bunch of them you can choose from.
Okay.
But anyway, let's wrap this up. Number 200. We've gone on pretty long here, so just quick final thoughts from everybody, and we'll get out of here. So let's start with Clocked It.
Yep, good chat. Highlights with Retro's questions, which I thought were awesome.
Mhm.
And of course, T cutting in and out, which I just couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was hilarious. So that really made the podcast for me. But no, I mean, we managed to cover quite a lot through there, and yeah, it was good. It's once again, it's an absolute pleasure to be on with you guys and have all the people in the chat, continuing to be here after 200 episodes. And like I said, it's the fact that I'm here on the 200th episode is it means a lot to me, man. It means a lot. So
Should have had you make some riddles.
That's like, yeah. Yeah, thanks for still letting me be on your juice. But yeah, good podcast.
All right, and T, I want you to listen to like the first hour of this so you can hear some of the hilarious noises was coming from your end. It was pretty good. But why don't you give your final thoughts?
Yeah, well, I heard the entire podcast, so I know you guys couldn't hear me the whole time. But yeah, great podcast. I wish I could have been contributed a bit more earlier, but life, had a little issue I had to take care of. But yeah, if you're not, I would say, if you don't have some of these Wii U, if you already have some of these Wii U ports, consider buying other games like Wolfenstein's and definitely Ease. I'm enjoying the hell out of that game. It's just like I'm enjoying that game, and I feel guilty because there's other games I have that I need to play, like Yonder and Poi. These are games that if you're looking for something to buy, you should definitely pick these games up. So yeah, that's my endorsement for that. And yeah, play Nintendo Fruits.
All right, Retro Death, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, this podcast. I was kind of missing Robert. Said that he wasn't there for the 200th episode. I like that the chat was very active. A lot of people, like usually. It always makes it a lot of fun.
And the game was really fun. So
yeah, like I had so many more questions, but yeah, like if it would have gone on for too long, that it wouldn't have been the same. And the last game I touched before the podcast was Hollow Knight. Actually, I'm nearing the end game now. I say end game. Some people say like, this game is like 3 hours long. Well, yeah, Hollow Knight has like an achievement you can get for doing a speed run in 2 hours. I'm at like 50 hours now because I want to 100% it. And man, if you guys are going for a 100% run, there's some asshole fucking bullshit level design near the end. Like, it's seriously Super Meat Boy level shit. But I urge anybody who's listening who hasn't bought the game yet to go buy Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I love that. There's a section where you start getting into these spikes, these like red and white spikes, and you got to do like Super Meat Boy, like wall jump, dash over. And I did this section. It was super hard, and I think I might have died. I think I got it on my third attempt, and like it was the reward for it was I talked to this I forget what he was, like a worm looking dude, and I got nothing for it that yet, he's appeared in other areas, nothing for it, but man, it was rewarding to get through that section. And
you have to collect those. I hope you broke the glass open.
Yeah, not those. It wasn't that one. It was a dude that was like crying. On one screen you could see him, but then to actually get to him, you had to jump these ridiculous, avoid these spikes, and it was super challenging but super fun. And then he just talks to you. Then he's at the main town on a bench once.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I've gotten nothing for it. But anyway, what about Yonder? I seen you posting some pics of that, and you haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, and I think I talked about it like last week, day before. Yeah, like I think I'm like 25, 30 hours in. I'm almost done with it. And with this, when I say I'm almost done with it, is where I did almost everything you could possibly do in the game, and I'm surprised at how big it is. It's like a $30 game. It looks so good, and I'm still having fun. Like it's a lot of fun, but it's less than I expected in the end. I'm waiting for a game that's gonna come out this year. What's it called? my time at Porsche, I think, which is basically Yonder on steroids. So I'm waiting for that game right now.
All right. Yeah, it looked really cool, but it's not very long. I mean, 30 hours is pretty decent length actually for indie, but all right, Terrell, go ahead.
200, man. It's been crazy. It's crazy we've been doing this for so long. And although I wasn't here from the beginning, it's always appreciated that I was even able to join in the first place and meet some wonderful people and some great gaming gods. Teach me the ways of the old school gamer. Good podcast. I liked Retro's questions. It was fun. It's also just glad to see we have a lot of supportive fans and how they just enjoy our stuff to the point where they can name off these random factoids about us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's cool to me.
That's pretty cool.
And I guess the last game I played was fucking Xenoblade, obviously, because I'm a whore. I beat Persona 5, right back to Xenoblade. I can't be trusted. But yeah, just good podcast. And I'm gonna end my section with something a little different. Instead of my catchphrase, I'm gonna do something that I would normally call campy as fuck. So here we go. Today was a good day. You want to know why? Because you woke up this morning. Peace.
Okay.
Wow.
That's like
All
it's
right.
like Terrell's version of Don't Die.
Damn it. Robert Spirit, is definitely always
I can
here.
say
He's not dead though.
But
Yeah, that sounds really, really glum.
I was going to say, what the hell was I going to say? I got distracted by Terrell's comment or last sentence there that really threw me off there. God damn it! What was I?
We did it. We did it,
I don't
boys.
remember. All I know is I'm enjoying Fortnite. I'm still playing Rocket League. Hollow Knight's amazing. You get to an area where you find it's like what is it called? It's like a brothel, kind of the way that the freight you enter, you go up, and then there's this woman just like singing like opera, and you can just sit there and listen to it, and it's freaking amazing. Like, it's so good. It just really took me off guard that you can just choose to sit, and you just sit and listen to her performance, and it's pretty awesome. But anyway,
Hollow Knight?
in Hollow Knight, it's that game has so many things, like so many surprising elements, and
That's pretty unexpected too.
yeah, it's crazy. But great game, still playing that. And honestly, I don't need, even if Nintendo had like a heavy hitter coming out in July, I don't even need it at this point. I'm definitely preoccupied. I've earned in Fortnite. I bought the Battle Pass, which was a $10 purchase, and then I've already earned enough in-game currency to get the next Battle Pass when the next season starts, so I don't have to spend any more money. Because you just go through, complete the challenges, and they have 5 and 10 star challenges, and when each 10 stars you get a new tier of your battle pass, and that every 10 or 12 you get 100 in-game currency, and I've got enough now I can buy the next battle pass with in-game currency, so I can continue to do that and never spend another dime. That $10 purchase will be like, basically I bought the game for $10, and as long as you keep playing and doing those challenges, you can keep playing and unlocking stuff. I got my Harley Quinn looking character and 3 different dance moves now, and it's pretty cool. So I really like the pricing structure for a free to play game. Yeah, you can go out and spend $20-$30 on just a couple different character designs or something if you want. But the smart thing to do is you get that battle pass and you play, and you actually earn the money, so you don't have to spend any more of your own money. So really cool the way they did it. Not a lot of companies in this day and age let you earn the in-game currency to buy things. It's one of the flaws, I think, of Rocket League, except for the events where they can let you get the decryptors, which work like keys. I wish I could just play the game and earn the decryptors all the time. But still like the game. But I think Fortnite should be commended for how they've handled it. You could just honestly pay nothing and enjoy and play the game with your friends and do the voice chat and party up, and and win matches, do have fun doing that. But once you get that battle pass and those challenges open up, it literally becomes like the shrines in Breath of the Wild. Like it's so much more to the game once you actually have the challenges there. And it gives you so much more purpose every time you jump out of that bus. Like, oh, I'm gonna go here now because I need to get 3 kills in this town, or I need to get search chests in Misty Mire, and it gives you so much more purpose. And when you accomplish those in the match, you don't even care if you got 10th place or 50th. You accomplish one of your challenges, tiered up, leveled up, and it's a reward. So I really highly recommend, if you enjoy the game, I'd wait till the next season. This one's about to end. Get the battle pass, look at the challenges, do them, and you can earn your way through. You don't ever have to spend another dime. So sounds like an advertisement. I was not paid by Epic or
We don't believe him. He's lying.
Whoever. I don't even know who. I know Epic Games, but I don't know if they have like a separate studio who gets credited for Fortnite. But it's really fun. Took me by surprise. I used to always tease people for playing that trendy game, and I can't believe you guys just talk about that game all the time. And then here I am. I'm sucked in. But anyway, that's gonna be it. Good podcast. I think we'll do the questions thing again, but I since I've been on every one of these, I know Retro was listening from the very early stages, but I think I'd like to throw some questions, come up with some questions that maybe challenge some people well beyond the last year or so, and maybe we'll have Jack Gates and Mohammed sit out next week and see if somebody else can rise to the top. I think they're going to win each time, but anyway, we'll talk about that. Probably do that throughout. Maybe not every week. We'll see. But yeah, so everybody have a good night and don't die.
What?